the show.
Hello to all you Patriots out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 139 of Canadian Patriot Podcast. I lost my spot. Number one live podcast in Canada, and it shows. Recorded on June 18th, 2018.
Things fall apart so quickly.
Yeah, Andrew rarely makes it through the intro. That's okay.
Bad.
We love him anyways. I'm Gavin, a business owner, gun enthusiast, hunter, atheist, and CC4 field officer for the GTA.
I'm Better Andrew, sports shooter in the GTA and now in HD.
I'm Tim. I'm a sports shooter and the owner and operator of Tim's Good T-shirts. They're quite good. I'm also the proud descendant of immigrants.
Hi, I'm Benny. I'm a small business owner at BennyLoose.ca and a not-so-token Jew.
As always, my name is Andrew. I'm your host. I'm a recovering libertarian, a competitive shooter, and a firearms instructor at Ragnarok Tactical. Do we lose Gavin?
No, I'm here. Was Dave going to introduce himself?
Oh, Dave.
Dave could, but I'm not in the show notes, so I'm like a random henchman. I don't have a name. You can all feel free.
You're a liability!
That's what I was waiting for, but I can just skip that and we can go right into the...
Dave, tell us about yourself.
Oh, God, this thing is... why am I here? This is like a train wreck. This is terrible. I'm Random Dave. I'm a gun owner on RSO and owner of Dave's Mediocre T-shirts. They're quite mediocre.
Perfect. Awesome. There we go. We'd love to hear your feedback about the show, so please visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com/feedback or email us at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. This week's topic is, do you like good T-shirts or mediocre T-shirts? A version of the show is available on Stitcher and iTunes. This week's topic is, do you like...
who's listening to the YouTube?
Check out the podcast on Facebook.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast and Instagram.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast.
We need your help to support the show. Visit www.patreon.com/CPP and become a Patreon. You can get a better quality version of the show. I know it's hard to imagine, for just $1 per episode. And the more you pledge, the better the rewards are. You can show you're not a communist by buying a CPP T-shirt for just $19.99 plus shipping and theft. You visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com, go to the homepage, and follow the link on the right.
If you donate $10 or more, Random Dave will never appear on this show again.
A worthy goal
per episode.
Is that blackmail?
That's a per episode donation right there. Yeah. It is totally quantifiable, though. The better quality episode is encoded at a higher bit rate, so it will sound better in your headphones.
What if I don't use headphones?
Well, we're goddamn lifelike, all right?
On my cell phone, so... But I still give you money every episode.
And I appreciate that.
$1.
I just want one fecking dollar. I need to get that Molyneux drop. Somebody find me that audio of Stefan Molyneux asking for one fecking dollar.
Love that guy.
All right, let's go into What Are We Drinking? Every week, What Are We Drinking is brought to us by Arrowhead Coffee. Arrowhead Coffee is owned and operated by Canadian Armed Forces veterans. They love our country, the true north, strong and free, their family and friends. Join Arrowhead Coffee on their hunt for the perfect brew to raise morale and bring that feeling of home to you no matter where you are. A portion of all profits helps Canadian Armed Forces members, veterans, and their families. And I actually just submitted a giant Arrowhead Coffee order for a Ragnarok course that we have coming up, because you get some fresh coffee if you take a Ragnarok course now. I mean, you still got to pay for the coffee, but like, come on, saving shipping, and it's Canada Post, so that's not cheap.
Yeah, you'll actually get it at more reliable, quicker time.
It's true. They roast it fresh just for me. I gave them the order yesterday. It's in the roaster today. We get it on Friday. I give it to people on Saturday. It's as fresh as I can get it.
Nice. I'm pretty sure we can't trust your non-unionized self to get it there on time. Only Canada Post can do this sort of thing.
Moving right along, let's go into What Are We Drinking? Other Andrew, what are you drinking?
Newfie Screech and Coke.
Ooh.
Nice.
Where's your yellow rain slicker?
I don't know, but I opened the bottle, so now I gotta finish it.
That's a great rule. I'm gonna give you a big bottle for your birthday.
Oh boy, don't.
We need to start a distillery in Ontario, and we could our first alcohol could be called Ree. Ree.
But it only comes in like 22 milliliter sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave, what are you drinking?
I am drinking water, but just for some fun, I added a label to it.
It's an audio show, but it's a great label. It says Liberal Tears.
Yes, it does.
So salt
Very
water.
finest of penmanship.
The Liberal tears.
Ooh,
Well, that's what makes the tears.
Everyone needs a hobby.
Mine is writing amusing things on everything.
Gavin, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking the official beer, Coors Banquet.
I'm also drinking official beer. I was drinking homebrew, but when I asked my wife to bring me more, I got Coors. So this is what I do now.
Oh, she had one job.
She did succeed. She brought beer.
Yeah.
Benny, what are you drinking? And is it kosher?
It is kosher and it's water.
Excellent. Oh, really?
Kosher water. How did they kill that?
How do you? Yeah.
Well,
Is it different from halal water?
no. Well, you see, I can't drink halal water, but I can drink kosher water. So yeah.
Man, religions are weird. All right, Tim, what are you drinking?
Drinking Rickard's Red.
No official beer for Tim, but that's okay. Rickard's Red's a solid choice.
Had some last night.
There you go. I figured
We saw the photo.
Yes. Because if
All
you
right.
don't take a picture of the beer you drink, it never happened.
that seems
Wouldn't that-
reasonable.
Be a reason not to take the pictures.
Depends on how many there are in a row. Maybe you just have a problem.
Yeah.
Depends.
Good thing-
It's the row more than you've purchased.
As long as you
That
can
would be the
afford it,
problem.
it's not a problem.
Yeah. Good thing there's no photos of that from my weekend. Ooh.
Yeah, a little beer deficit. Hey, actually, Gavin, do you want to tell everybody what you spent the weekend doing? Because it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I was down in Utah again, visiting some buddies, doing some more long range shooting. So successfully got out to 1,300 yards again, multiple times. Didn't quite make that mile shot because the Sunday morning when we woke up, there was a small hurricane. At least that's what it felt like, because we had two of our sunshades get ripped apart by the wind, and I had to lash down my tent in the middle of the night because it felt like it was going to get blown away. So yeah, a little bit too windy for the mile shot, but a lot of fun hanging out with the guys in the desert, shooting guns, drinking beer. We had a full auto grease gun that shot blanks, which was kind of fun. So whenever weirdos would come by and start bothering us, we'd do a mag dump on that. So it was good times,
America sounds great.
Yeah, we lit up a few targets in the dark with some night vision goggles on. So that was good.
Cool.
Keeping it real.
Let's get into some news. We'll start with the most triggering thing that happened last week in Parliament. Andrew Scheer removes Maxime Bernier from Tory front bench. And this generated a little bit of backlash from a large part of the Conservative Party, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and rightly so, given that, in my opinion, I guess more people liked Bernier than Scheer, despite Scheer winning. It's just that Bernier was sort of polarizing, where Scheer was just the least
Milk
disliked.
toast?
Yeah, the least disliked candidate.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So Bernier was filling a role in the shadow cabinet for the opposition as the Minister of Innovation, Science. The Shadow Minister for Innovation, Science, and Economic Development.
When you say shadow government and then you say innovation and development, it really sounds like it's maybe like the Illuminati secret development division.
Yeah,
It's the weirdest thing to read.
just shadow government in general just sounds sort of nefarious.
Well, they're all the critics, right? Like as the
Yeah.
opposition, they fill the critic role in Parliament.
Yeah,
It is kind of the overtones are a little menacing, I guess.
well, yeah. I mean, I don't dislike it. I'm just saying. If there's going to be a shadow government, though, I think we should be the shadow government.
Well, seeing as of the three major parties, they're the closest to, I believe, your political leanings, right? So it's better
No,
than
that's not true. The Libertarian Party doesn't actually run any ridings.
right. So they're not one of the three major parties.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that I'm in agreement with really any of the three major parties. I just find the if government was a poop, the conservative government would be the least poopy part of it to try and pick up.
What do you mean if?
Right, like when you're walking the dog and you ran out of bags, but you still had to take the dog excrement with you. The conservative part would be the part that you'd try to pick it up by.
This is true.
Best description of politics in Canada ever.
I think politics anywhere.
Well, I am nothing if not a wordsmith.
And a poopsmith, apparently.
The dog analogy is apt. I need to walk those guys.
It's interesting though, because you always think about it. I mean, when there's a leadership race, the whole thing, you're like, this guy sucks, this woman sucks, don't vote for them, vote for me, I'm awesome. Oh look, we're all working together afterwards. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. You got great ideas.
Yeah.
That's a hard line to follow.
Bernier actually does have good ideas, and I think that the reason, and it's not entirely clear, but I think the reason why he was removed from his position is Bernier's been incredibly outspoken about tariffs. Pardon me, that's not right. Supply chain management, which is something that came up in the G7 talks as a result of the tariffs that they're going to be imposing because we have supply management for things like dairy.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I remember the milk quotas when I was growing up.
Yeah, and he's been quite vocal on it from the get-go. Like, that was part of his campaign for the conservative nomination, was campaigning against supply management. I mean, he was very, very active in that.
Can we also talk briefly about the unnamed MP that the CBC quotes? Because I wish I had a drop of this, but Tim has said before, and is worthy of saying again, that people shouldn't punch to their right. It's like the Conservative Party, as much as I dislike them, is the rightest most party that we have. And while they're not particularly good, they're the ones that are the least offensive, like we talked about, the clean end of the poop.
The least bad.
The least bad. Some unnamed Conservative MP allegedly anonymously spoke to the CBC, providing a quote that said, "What was more offensive than his attack on supply management was the attack on our supporters, quite frankly calling them fake conservatives or nefarious paper millionaires." I don't like these unnamed sources thing that the mainstream media wants to quote, because there's no accountability or reliability to that. So if you're going to say that kind of stuff, put your name on it, right? Like we do the podcast, everybody on the internet can figure out who I am. I stand behind the things I say because the things I say are intelligent and debatable. And if somebody wants to try and prove me wrong, I'll listen to your point of view and explain to you why you're mistaken. But to go to the CBC or for the CBC to make something like that up, I don't think that what Bernier said was inaccurate. If you're a conservative, if you voted conservative and are in favor of supply chain management, you don't understand the concept of conservatism in politics.
Yeah.
Or free speech, apparently.
Yeah, well, it's Canada. We don't actually have free speech. Well, we don't. It's not a thing.
It's one of those scary things you like not to think about.
Or property rights, if you want to get into that too.
Yeah, we don't have property rights. We don't have free speech rights. We can pay taxes on pretty much anything, though.
Yeah.
The Constitution can be overridden with a line that says we realize that what we're doing is against the Constitution, but hey, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, why is the Globe and Mail? Oh, God. I was going to pivot to the next story here, but the Globe and Mail is being stupid and wants me to buy a subscription now. So,
Doug Ford orders public sector hiring freeze. Yay!
I think this is actually a case of yay.
That wasn't a sarcastic yay.
Sweet. Incognito mode in Chrome is finally good for something in my day-to-day life. I can now read the article.
Yeah. Finally.
I like the bit in here that says they've been ordered to stop unnecessary travel. well, if it's not necessary, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what are government employees in Ontario doing, taking trips outside the province of Ontario and getting paid for it? Like what? Let's go see how they do things in Alberta, guys.
Well, I could.
Oh God, please don't.
This may just be me, fantasizing, but I could see him say, "Well, you know what? You don't actually need to go to that meeting. We could just have someone set up a laptop and Skype it."
Yeah, we do that at work all the time because hey, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like we're doing that right now.
Yeah,
So
and
it's a-
when we do it, sometimes my laptop even works. Although today was kind of rough. We'll see how it sounds when I edit it.
That's a private sector ingenuity, I'm guessing.
I turned it off and on.
Well, when you don't have taxpayers to pay for your tickets, yeah, I guess you're going to do that way.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to get to with this article that was in the Globe was the hell's Smokey's name? He's the guy that runs the public sector union on Ontario. They've got like 34,000 members.
Ralph Goodale.
No, not Ralph Goodale. Warren Thomas.
Why
guess
does he have a nickname? Like in an article like this, like what possessed them to be like, oh, that guy they call Smokey? Like, really?
That's what he calls himself. You hear him on the talk radio talking, and yeah, he's introduced as Smokey.
Well, that in any event, Smokey Thomas is the president of the Ontario Public Sector Employees Union. They have 34,000 employees in Ontario, and of course, the union is super concerned that all of these cuts are going to impact their ability to deliver government services. Because I guess in whatever version of Fantasyland he lives in, the government is efficient.
Or providing those proper services.
Currently able to provide those services. Yeah, that's the... I don't know if this guy has tried to use government lately, but it's not exactly the most efficient thing ever.
I think he's pretending he believes that.
Right? So, like, they're not talking about cutting jobs. They're not going to add anything. So, all the government services that currently suck, they're going to continue to suck.
But we just won't pay as much for them.
Well,
hopefully.
We're not going to pay more for them is all this is with this very temporary hiring fee freeze, because the reason that we're doing this is really just to audit the books. We're not changing it until the audit's completed. That's all that Ford has ordered. It's not a permanent freeze, and it doesn't impact frontline like emergency services stuff. So you're not replacing or adding any firefighters or police officers that were already slated to be hired. You're just not going to be adding people to like the Department of Motor Vehicles.
It's funny how like 2 paragraphs after they say that, it says disproportionately affects frontline services. Like, what are you trying to say? You said it doesn't, and now you're saying it does.
In their article, frontline services include things like Service Ontario. Service Ontario is not a vital service in Ontario.
It's a useless service in Ontario. Oh my gosh.
Well, almost all the services
it's
are.
important because that's where you buy back the rights they took from you.
Yeah, but my license sticker.
Like your fishing license and your motor vehicle license and
I just do all that online because
your bestiality license.
I want to go sit on the interwebs. Which
Yeah,
maybe is a good opportunity to say, hey, what more stuff could we be doing online rather than, having people sitting in government offices managing it? What can we automate?
Well, Dave, didn't they try to do something like that? Was it the Phoenix Pay or something? I don't know. I just heard about it when it failed. I didn't hear when they tried to.
Oh, so you mean immediately when they implemented it?
Yeah,
Like I said, I only heard when it failed.
Pay doesn't really work, but hey, government. Yeah, this makes me sad because let's not hire more useless people to do jobs that don't actually need doing. Maybe we should privatize a bunch of this stuff because I mean, like Service Ontario is already semi-privatized anyway.
Oh, when we said privatized, they went and tried to privatize Hydro One. How did that work out?
Yeah, the way that they privatized Hydro One wasn't really like what I mean by privatize. I mean take it away from the government.
Well, they privatized it, but they also created a government mandated like monopoly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's not free market privatized. It's single government controlled monopoly privatized, which is not really privatized.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, if you want to open like a licensing bureau, and people can go and get their picture taken for their driver's license, and then you print the driver's license out and sell it to them,
Tim's Good licenses.
Yeah, if you want to open Tim's Good licenses, like I'm all for like.
I
Let's
have a
do
better
that.
solution though. We just get rid of the whole fucking thing.
Tim's Good nuke plant.
That's. I am saying recreational nuclear facilities for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. My libertarian utopia.
Yeah.
I can
Thoroughly.
see it now.
I'll be bitching about the minimum wage. I gotta pay these guys $15 an hour.
Oh, maybe 14. I don't know.
Dave, I think you're not Tim. You're probably going to complain more about having to hose down your workers after they work in the plant because of all the radiation.
Oh, maybe
And water costs money.
those water bills.
Well, at least what you could do is you could just go to your local shooting range and source your lead there.
There we go.
Talk about recycling.
Oh, yeah.
Roll in the berm.
Yeah. I mean, you need it. They want to get rid of it. It's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, we're solving a lot of problems here. This is good work.
Cheap power, and you're cleaning up the environment.
Yeah. Private
I like
industry at its finest right now, folks.
Everybody important wins.
Let's pivot. We're going to talk about the population. So, Canadian population reaches 37 million as record quarter for deaths is offset by strong immigrations from the National Post. With the exception of Newfoundland and Labrador, every province in Canada has grown in size despite a lot of people dying. And that's because we had 88,000 people migrate to Canada between January 1 and April 1 of this year. It's impressive.
I was going to say, is there a different verb for refugees? Or are they also considered
regular migrants?
Any flavor or variety of migrant is being counted in this statistics can data that's being referenced in the National Post article. So doesn't matter how they got there, it just means it matters that they got there. But it also means that there's a lot of baby boomers that are dying off.
Except for Newfoundland and Labrador, because no one
wants to go there.
At gunpoint.
Yeah.
Or the boomers that are in the 3%ers. Those guys don't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon.
Who's going to make Screech?
Yeah.
Yeah, please. I need more.
So this is an impressive number.
That's a lot of people.
There was a lot of people. That's something like 5 times the birth rate for the same period. Just incredibly high rates of migration.
It's not good when your only source of increasing your population is bringing people outside your country in.
Well,
To the West, man, everybody is in that boat. It's not just Canada. People want to have careers.
I am all for that. My concern with this is the drastic rate at which we are bringing people in. Like, yeah, okay, good. So I guess maybe not good, but like the baby boomers are dying off, so maybe they'll stop ruining the economy. I can hope. But I don't think that replacing our existing population with various flavors of migrants at this rate is the right solution.
Because they won't be able to fix the economy. Because they don't contribute to it.
In many cases, I think that is an accurate assessment. Is that we have how many people did we have illegally cross the border in Quebec in that same period? Like it was like 12,000 refugees or some nonsense.
Crazy.
Far too many.
Like we had almost the same number of illegal or what's the term? Irregular migrants. Thank you.
Yes.
We had nearly as many irregular migrants illegally enter the country as we did had people died. Like
No, they didn't illegally. They irregularly entered the country.
That's right.
Yeah.
They irregularly, illegally entered the country.
Not illegal like when you drive to Quebec and buy a 12-pack and bring it back to Ontario.
No, like legal when you cross a national boundary without following the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, interesting though, because how many of those people are going to get kicked out once their migration or refugee hearings are done?
I hope all of them. Everyone who entered the country illegally is breaking a law.
And their
if
kids.
you break a law, you're not allowed to break. Or if you're breaking the law, you're not allowed to obtain citizenship. So follow the process and migrate correctly.
Andrew, I think you have too much faith.
No, I would like the laws that we had actually be enforced the way that they're written.
We should write more laws.
That won't help. It's funny how more laws won't help when they don't enforce the current laws.
But why don't they just make that illegal?
Come on, Andrew.
Well,
we're only
it'd be
one
double
law away from
illegal.
paradise.
Double illegal.
Well, why not triple illegal?
Did you say
Triple
more laws
plus
or
illegal.
more laws or more locks?
Both
Yes.
of those things. Both of
Yes.
those things. Yeah. I don't really have anything else for this. It made me sad that we're importing people at the rate that we are.
Well, that's
It's not
I did the
sustainable.
math. That's 250,000 people over the year.
Yeah, not bad for a country that has 36 million people. Well, I guess 37 million
37
people in it
now.
now.
Mhm.
Seems like a pretty big increase. Like an untenable
Didn't we have a
level.
discussion about that a little while ago? 100,000 was okay, but 200,000. Whoa, 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 whoa!
Yeah, that's too many. I think that was the last time you were on.
It was.
Yeah. This is I
Next.
don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what to do about this. Let's talk about weed.
You guys called it first.
Yeah, I mean, this was. If you didn't know this was not coming, you should listen to Canadian Patriot podcast because I told them there would be no weed. Global news article. This is a bunch of other outlets because it came across, I think, off of an AP wire. So a bunch of places released basically all the same details. Marijuana won't be legal on July 1, and here's the clickbait. It's actually the title is "Marijuana won't be legal on July 1, and here's why," which was the most offensive article I could find because all the content of the article is the same at all the outlets, but Global was like, "We're going to make ours clickbaity," so I used that as our reference.
And we all just clicked on it, so clearly you fell for it.
I did it on purpose just because it made me sad because it was like, this is mainstream media reporting in Canada. You won't believe why marijuana is not legal. Click here to find out.
I want to know why the government sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, I really wish my drops were working. I have a bunch of good government drops. I mean, not that they're saying the government is good, but like they're entertaining in relation to government being bad, inefficient. Yeah. So legalization of marijuana, Bill C-45 got sent back to the Senate with some wording changes, and the Senate is not in session, so that means not getting your pot legally for Canada Day.
My favorite part of this entire thing was that the government is going to try and get rid of the Senate amendment that would forbid you to put a marijuana company logo on a T-shirt. I'm like, that's
what's holding this up. That's what's holding this up.
How is that a problem to say, put the terrible marijuana store logo onto a T-shirt? That is the moment that our society will fall right there.
Yeah, if you were the Ontario Cannabis Store and you wanted to get some Tim's Good T-shirts made with your logo, I don't think even he would make them.
Well, I mean,
I just like I feel like pointing out that if they were so trying to get this out there that they take that concession or whatever and table it or put it on the shelf, whatever, deal with it at another time. But this way, they could actually fill their promise by making it, legalizing it, right? So.
No,
But now they have something to point at the Senate and say, "Hey, look, they're holding us up."
See, what just a very short thing is the what's interesting is they really believe that what they're doing is important, and they really believe that if they don't come up with the proper way to sell marijuana, then people could become like addicted to marijuana or do like lots of marijuana. Like they really think that they're having an effect on society. Even though, like, what is it? Like 78% of the people have done marijuana or do marijuana. Like, it's just like the majority of people smoke dope.
Well, that's the silly thing. I mean, has anyone ever known anyone to have a problem getting marijuana when they wanted it? Like,
yeah. So why is it so hard to
not
come
for
up
a
with this
very
law?
long time.
It's de facto legal anyway, right? And the cops won't do anything about it because they don't care. They know the law is stupid. So. Whatever.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they haven't made it legal. They've just highly regulated it, more so than alcohol, in fact.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about it too. I know a lot of people who are really interested in this law going, "Hey, it's going to be legal. It's going to be blah blah blah." No, not exactly.
Yeah, not completely. Especially when right now there's a part in there that certain provinces won't let you do your own home grows, which is a big reason why people want it to be legalized.
Well, they want it.
Everyone is expecting decriminalization, and be able to just I can grow plants in my backyard and do whatever the hell I want with them, give them to my neighbor or smoke them all myself. And
wait, you want to be able to grow things on your property for your own use?
Yeah.
Where's your license for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I pointed out
Stuck
to
in
a
your
friend,
bureaucracy.
Yeah.
I pointed out to a friend a couple days ago that I can. He said same thing. I can grow it at home. I can smoke it, give it to people. I said, well, not only are you now trafficking drugs, they're going to get serious about getting after you because now you're also tax evading. Now it's serious.
But even if you live in an area where you are going to be able to grow it legally, you're only allowed to grow so many plants. And up until recently, they were only allowed to be so tall, but it looks like they've scrapped that part of it. But like if I wanted to make my own whiskey for personal use or my own beer, I could have as many, stills for whiskey or whatever.
How about
You
the
have to
whiskey?
be careful about the distillation of alcohol at home. There are laws around that. Home brewing for beer, not so much.
Yeah, but if it's for
I know this because
personal,
I've started.
yeah, but okay, then beer, exactly. I
Yeah,
can
beer.
brew as much beer in
Sure.
my own home as I want.
Yeah.
I can stockpile as much beer in my own home as I want.
And you can give it away. You
You
just
know?
can't sell it.
Yeah, I can't sell it. But
Well-
pot,
But,
it's going to
like-
be super regulated, which isn't legal. It's highly regulated.
But like Dave said, it's the tax evasion. Remember, tax evasion. That's what
Yeah.
got Al Capone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing I like with. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you need a good CPA.
Everyone should have a good CPA.
Is that like an IPA?
It's entirely unlike an IPA.
Huh.
The other
Yeah,
part that I
they're
like
actually
with this is oh wow, that cuts me deep. I like both my accountant and my choice in hoppy beers. What was that? Yeah, the soundbite for this is that the liberals are already ramping up with the attack ads for the conservatives because I continue to predict, as I have since the current government was elected, that this will be a wedge issue in the next federal election. And Trudeau is already making the sound bites, and they're going to be good when they use them in attack ads against the Conservatives. It's been months that Andrew Scheer, the Conservative leader, has been telling his Senate caucus, the senators that he controls, to play games to slow this down, to interfere with the will of the House.
So the attack ad will be him sitting on a couch saying, "Hey, man, Andrew Scheer doesn't want you to have your weed."
Exactly. They're going to play these little clips where it's the Conservatives that are controlling the Senate, not letting you have your weed, man. Except that the independent senators group has more senators in the Conservative caucus of senators. So
I bet you they could get Cheetos or Doritos to sponsor those ads. Probably just pay for them.
brought to you, who owns Doritos? Is that like Nabisco?
Probably.
Frito-Lay.
Brought to you by Frito-Lay.
White Castle.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
maybe they'll get the McCain freezer fries, guys.
Here they know a guy.
Yeah.
They could probably get a good deal on that.
Oh, yeah.
A little government collusion goes a long way.
Worst comes to worst, they'll have to pay $200.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tax write-off then, isn't it, to donate stuff to a political party?
Yes, it is. Yeah, this is dumb. So it's the Conservatives' fault you're not getting your weed. It's definitely not because the Liberal government doesn't know how to legalize it and because they can't figure out what the law is supposed to be.
See, this
pretty good
I
for a
would,
party
I
that got
would say
elected
that
on
they
it
have
for-
no idea how to legalize it because, they didn't. But
to me, it's very simple to legalize it. You open the criminal code bit in Word, you do find and replace with marijuana, and you change it to nothing. And then you hit
Yeah.
save, and you're done.
yeah, delete. Any sentence that references it, you just hit delete.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a big deal. I should have moved the next one up in the stack slightly because it's closer related to the immigration thing than to the marijuana thing. But whatever. Another Globe and Mail article: get your incognito mode out in your Chrome browser. I mean, allegedly. Canada's household debt burden falls to 2-year low, which this is actually impressive. We're down to, what did it drop, like 17% or something? No, it can't be that
No,
much.
it's
2-year low of
1.3%. Is that it?
percent from 100.
No, it's sorry, it fell 1.7%.
Oh, that's where I got it. It wasn't 17, it was 1.7. See, my show prep was not strong today. But this is a good thing. This is the lowest that our household debt burden has fallen. Actually, this is the lowest it's been in
28 years.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's still like remarkably high.
Oh, sorry, it's the lowest quarter-to-quarter decline in 28 years.
So it's still not.
I think
great,
it's the
but
greatest quarterly decline in 28 years.
Sorry, yes, that's I don't know what it said, but that's what I meant.
And only because
Lowest,
they've been
which-
measuring for 28 years.
Yes. So this is good. Quarter to quarter, this is the largest change downward in household debt in the 30 years they've been measuring it. And it's down 1.7% over the previous quarter. And it's the lowest it's been since the end of 2016, something like that.
Yeah.
Like
26,
Q2 2016 was the last time it was at the rate that it's at now. The rate that it's at now is the scary part, though. Is the actual burden rate is 170% of your household disposable income.
yeah, which is very frightening.
That's a whole lot of credit cards.
But the reason we have that debt is because we can afford it, and that shows we're successful. I think I heard that somewhere.
The budget will balance itself.
I'm just wondering,
it's
like,
a scary amount.
who taught these people how to adult?
Nobody. That's
Nobody,
the problem.
It was not a required course at Teachers College.
And you learn how to fist each other instead.
There you go. Wow, that went to a. All right then.
That escalated quickly.
Well, it's probably the more practical skill for these people.
Yeah. I don't know. Overall, I think this is a good thing. It's entirely possible that this is related to the boomers dying off.
And also the rules that they put in place in regards to getting new mortgages and stuff, it really put a hamper on people buying $1 million houses around the GTA and stuff like that with the absolute minimum, like 5% down or something like that.
Yes, which is good. But household debt doesn't include mortgages, as far as I understand it, from Bank of Canada.
It does say here at the top, but mentions the tougher mortgage rules. So I think
that was a key factor.
Is it? I thought they measured real estate values as a separate item from household debt, but maybe I'm mistaken.
according to the article, you are.
Well, that will happen. I am, in fact, not an accountant, and I do not play one on a podcast. I pay a guy for that.
Well, if it keeps going down, that's a very good sign because, yeah, stupid high levels of debt is bad. Now, government needs to take the exact same trajectory and get debt down there too.
Well, I'm hoping that at least with Ontario that we're going to see more people working and getting paid more money because we're going to have more, call them meaningful jobs, less service industry and more production type jobs.
Well, hopefully.
All right, you calling that, Andrew? We'll check back in a few podcasts.
I hope that is what Ford does, is stimulates our economy into making things and selling things and stops being like opening Tim Hortons and McDonald's so that people that work at Tim Hortons and McDonald's can eat at each other's establishments.
I switched over from a service industry to a manufacturing industry, and I'm so happy for it. It's so much more lucrative to do it.
Yeah, it's a much better. The primary and secondary industries are way better to work in. Even knowledge-based industries in Ontario, which are technically service industry, but providing, like, say, professional engineering or medical services isn't exactly the same thing as flipping a burger and giving somebody an extra large fry.
Yeah. So I'm glad we get the computers coming in and do those for us.
Yeah, the computer never fucks up my order, which is the best part.
Well, and if it does, guess whose fault it is?
Cook.
Andrews.
Well, you can check the receipt to see whose fault it was.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the machine. I know if I put it into the machine wrong.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
variability there.
At the very least, if it is the machine that screwed up, it doesn't give you lip about it.
But you don't have anyone to yell at, so
Windows
Machines
needs to
don't-
update now. No.
Machines don't spit in your food.
That's true.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. I mean, I would like to see more knowledge jobs and more like hands-on service jobs. Like I'm all for people that work in the service industry. I'm not all for people that work in McDonald's for their entire career bitching that they get paid minimum wage and $15 an hour isn't a living wage.
that's
It's
that's
not
I'm
supposed to be.
in a high school and I don't have any connections or experience and I can't get a better job.
Yeah, it's like I need somebody that can prove they can show up on time and like not spit in my food. And then if you do that for a while, you can move on to something better.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad I had crappy jobs when I was younger, because it gave me the motivation to realize that I don't want crappy jobs. I want to go have a better job that pays me money.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So let's talk about some more of those jobs. There's a McLean's article because I guess now we're gonna get hate mail because McLean's agrees with us because the meme magic is real. A Patriot's Guide to Shopping During a Canada-U.S. Trade War. So I guess now it's okay to be a patriot because now we're in a trade war.
So it's no longer a 4-letter word.
I don't know. We'll see. I guess now because
It
we're
can't-
mad at
it
Trump.
can't spell.
I don't know. We got a bunch of complaints about that before that people didn't like that we were using that in our branding, but screw those people. They were no fun anyway.
Sure weren't.
So I guess now it's the cool thing to do is because we're going to engage in a trade war with the Americans. Now we need to know what brands we should be buying as Canadians.
I'm confused by this, and I'll tell you at the end as a surprise if you're going to go through all the items.
Okay, sure. I wasn't planning on going through all the items, but some of them did catch my attention.
I
Like
see
the,
it.
Like
I was just like I was going to say most of the time I'm buying President's Choice. It's just it makes the most sense to me. So
And I don't know anyone who drinks bourbon, so me.
I drink bourbon.
Do you?
I like bourbon.
Okay, well, I don't know anyone important who drinks bourbon.
Oh.
Fair.
I'm important and I drink bourbon.
The thing with bourbon is it's right beside the whiskey, so why would I buy bourbon?
Okay,
I'm
we
a
could.
patriotic Canadian.
But sometimes you just want a little bit of that Kentucky whiskey.
No.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm the only one that feels that way. That's fine. I occasionally enjoy myself a bourbon.
Oh, call yourself a patriot.
Well, I enjoy all kinds of whiskeys. I enjoy Irish whiskeys and Scotch whiskeys and
Rise.
rye, Canadian whiskey.
Proper whiskey, yeah.
Bourbon whiskey. I'm not a big fan of like the corn mash whiskey, the Tennessee whiskey. Not a big fan of the Jack Daniels.
I don't know. Jack is good. The less than 30-day-old White Lightning Moonshine corn whiskey is maybe not my favorite, but even the Japanese Suntory whiskey is not so bad.
So I guess for the whiskey, the suggestion is to drink rye. Go get some Crown Royal. We drink Crown Royal on the show all the time.
Or go make friends with Andrew and drink his homebrew.
Or drink my homebrew, but that's not whiskey.
Can't go wrong with Copper Pot
That's true.
or 40 Creek Barrel Select. That's
Yeah,
it.
40 Creek is a solid whiskey.
Yeah.
Crown Royal is one of the most popular whiskeys, and it's rye whiskey, which is good. Rye whiskey is always good.
I think my favorite part of this entire article is that they recommend you buy a BlackBerry.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's a
not
mistake.
Like,
When I
that's
got-
not happening.
When I got to like instruments, which is the one before that, I was just like, I'm not reading any more of this. This is boring.
Blackberry whiskey?
yes,
Maybe.
blackberry. Yeah, I mean, but
Is that a new Crown Royal flavor?
somebody write that to them post haste. I would drink that. That actually doesn't sound too bad. I mean, I probably have to reset it frequently, but that's okay. It'd be very secure.
No, now it's running Android, so it's not the same thing anymore.
Exactly. So why would I buy one? I could have a crappy iPhone knockoff, or I could just buy a crappy iPhone. So
Yeah, this is the other one that I thought was kind of an interesting thing to bring up was I thought we already fought the ketchup war.
We did.
It's
Ketchup
just bringing
war
it back up
was
to life.
We did.
2000
The only reason anyone knows
2016,
we're leaving.
2017.
Right? Like, so if you're in Ontario, especially if you're in Southern Ontario, you're near like the tomato capital of everywhere. It's in
Apparently.
Leamington.
I did
There's-
not know that.
Yeah, Leamington, Ontario is like the home of tomatoes. I don't, whatever their thing is. It's the
Do it until the tomato wars.
right, but wasn't that like in 2000 and like
Yeah, the
13
whole
or 2014? That,
French's.
yeah, Heinz was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we're not going to make tomato ketchup in Leamington anymore. We're going to leave Ontario because your liberal government has totally screwed us on production value. So we're going to go to America and make it for less.
I don't
And-
blame them.
Yeah.
Then French's was like, we'll buy everything and work with the co-op. And now we make French's ketchup in Leamington, Ontario.
Either way, Leamington, Ontario has a lot of tomatoes.
Yeah, I thought that we already fought the ketchup war. So if you're a patriot, you already knew to buy French's ketchup.
Heinz,
that's
to
the thing.
close, Heinz to close Ontario factory trims 740 jobs. Globe and Mail, November 14th, 2013.
Yeah, that's what I thought was we
Yeah.
already went, like, this was like 5-year-old news, but I guess McLean's is reminding people that forgot, if you want Canadian-made ketchup, you have to buy French's.
What about Nate? Like
Yeah.
no name?
Or you
That's
could
what I
blame
buy.
the Liberals.
I don't know about No Name. Where does it say where it's made? It probably does.
Probably is bottled. It says probably says bottled somewhere.
Yeah, so I don't know. I thought this was kind of a goofy thing because, like, if you cared about this, you would already be buying these products in Canada. And if you just wanted to, like, snub Trump because you don't like Drumpf, then you would, like, follow the McLean's How to Be a Patriot article and then put your Canadian-made dildo
That's
back.
exactly who they're going after.
You might
What?
be a white nationalist though if you're trying to be a Canadian patriot though, right?
What,
That's how it
what
works.
you'll act-
I have been told that I'm a little bit of a white nationalist sometimes.
what you'll actually do is take a single picture, post it on your Instagram with "fuck Trump" as the hashtag, and then go buy everything made in China again. So.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I thought these people that were all like "fuck Drumpf" were already buying all their crap at Walmart anyway, right? Like, if you cared about Canadian manufacturing, Canadian jobs, would you not already be buying Canadian-made products and supporting Canadian businesses?
I'm curious though, like the people that are complaining about this, how many of them voted Liberal or worse?
Or I like that. That's how we're judging that side of the spectrum now.
Because, like, the reason they pulled out of, this and started the whole ketchup wars is because the unfavorable business climate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm all for supporting Canadian businesses, but I'm also for supporting business.
Yeah, if you think about it, like Ontario government probably drove Heinz the hell out of Ontario.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we're
I
going
don't
to
blame them for leaving at all.
for wanting to maintain their profit, which is why people
Yeah.
go into business.
Those greedy
Yeah.
businesses.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want to keep the money that they make.
So
Well, and
no,
I mean, there's
no
probably because of that only room for one business in Ontario, given the climate, because whoever's actually manufacturing here will take, the Patriot buyers, despite the fact that most of those people that probably did that are dumb.
Yeah,
Because they're
probably
they
dumb.
voted in the problem. That
Oh, hey,
this whole thing, but
And
you
then
want to talk about
recognize
people
it.
that are dumb and trying to vote in things to fix the problem. Financial Post article, next thing in the stack. Trump trade triad shows Canada has never needed new pipelines more, energy leaders warn.
Wait a second.
These are the same people that couldn't negotiate at the G7, that couldn't figure out how to unfuck the NAFTA situation,
Yeah.
that have now federalized a pipeline that the private industry was already going to build if the government would enforce the rules to make the protesters get out of the way to allow them to install the pipeline. We've now federalized this pipeline at massive expense. And now, of course, because we're in a trade war with the Americans, we need this pipeline. It's vital to our national interests.
In the new, exactly. That's what I was going to say about that. Like, it's like they could increase, the province could increase minimum wage, add a whole bunch of labor laws, let Hydro One run amok, and then when Heinz can no longer, doesn't want to have a factory here anymore, then we'll create a provincially run ketchup factory.
yeah.
Yeah, comrade.
The ultimate decider in infrastructure programs.
Who is listening to the video?
Jurisdictional disputes, the constitutional law around these
Not
things.
me.
Not me, sir.
Okay, well, somebody's listening to the video, and that means our listeners are listening to the video.
Twice.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry.
Twice now. The listeners have heard that twice.
That's my first day.
That's okay. Well, I was going to make a socialism joke, but I don't remember what we were talking about now, but something about
Okay.
everybody being equally hungry.
Yeah. Those jokes are only funny if everybody gets it.
Well, it's like that joke.
That's what it
No,
was.
they're still
Socialism is like food.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets it.
Or the old what do socialist countries use to light their houses before the candle? The light bulb.
Ooh, wow. That hits close to my hydro bill, man.
That's why they're killing the bees. They don't want people to be able to light their homes with candles.
No, candles are expensive.
It's
Beeswax ones are.
So this is dumb. I don't really care about the numbers or anything else in this article. I thought it was very apt that the same people that screwed up the G7 and started a trade war with our largest trading partner now say that we have to have the federalized pipeline system to allow our oil and gas products to be refined and sold so we can compete with the Americans who we've entered a trade war in with because we couldn't negotiate NAFTA in good faith and not talk about feminine equality or whatever their nonsense was. Because that was a big thing during like the last 18 months of NAFTA negotiations was we kept giving them pages and pages of like, we need feminism. And the Americans are like, yeah, but we want to talk about trade. But we want women to be treated equally. But
gender-based.
We want to talk about trade. But the budget needs to be gender-based. And the Americans just stopped negotiating NAFTA with us because we couldn't do it in like a constructive way.
Business-like fashion.
Yeah, so now we have to have a federalized pipeline program that private industry was already going to build at massive expense to my great-grandchildren because that's how long we're going to be paying for this if they pay it off on time.
You know who we should talk to about this whole thing? We should give Hugh a Chavez a ring
Shay.
and just see how that's working out.
Good ale.
So let's see. Find something that Venezuela has that you want.
Cholera.
Nope. Nope.
They have oil, don't they?
Yeah, but they don't have an industry to get it out of the ground
Yeah, that was the
because
joke.
they federalized it and broke their entire economy.
They sound like Canada.
I knew there was a catch.
I'm sad that someone had to explain my reference.
Well, it's Venezuela. Not everybody keeps up on world politics the same way as the rest of us.
I'm Canadian patriot.
Wait. Didn't? Ah, never mind.
All right.
Blame the public schools.
The government indoctrination center. Speaking of, actually, that's probably a great segue. We were on point with those tonight. National Post article. Lindsay Shepard. Shit, if I could talk. Lindsay Shepard sues Wilfrid Laurier, claiming attacks rendered her unemployable in academia. Now, of course, she's suing the university, not the dead prime minister. But this is the government education system at work. They have managed to make it so that she is unable to obtain a job teaching, despite having to gone to school to become like a PhD in teaching.
I'm not even vaguely surprised that after that whole thing that she would have a problem, that she would have an issue, that she would be able to find a job in academia after all that press. Nobody's going to hire her.
I would totally hire her. I think she's our girl. Like, I think that.
Well, but I was thinking the same thing. I think that like what the case is predicated on is her inability to get a job in her chosen field. She could get a job. I know there are a bunch of people who do our kind of thing that would be more than happy to employ her. This is complete. I think this is completely predicated on her inability to get a job in academia, as she predicted or
it
hoped
is,
to do.
which I mean, we talked about it. She said it was going to happen. Now it has happened. She can't get a job teaching as a result of all of the infamy that she gained through the problem with the school and her What was Rambucana? He was the department head. He is the department head that she worked under.
Yeah.
Right, and the like false accusations of misogyny and various other transisms and phobias and things that she suffered from because she had the audacity to play a clip of Jordan Peterson, another professor, speaking on a topic. Like that's, I hope that she wins the $3.5 million that she's out to get with these people.
No, she totally deserves it.
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then hopefully she can get like a lucrative career being like a a right wing. Speaker.
Here's my take on it. She doesn't deserve $3.5 million, but they deserve the fine.
Fair.
Agreed.
Like they've created this whole stupid it's just like little microcosm of this leftist bullshit, and they all when they signal social with social justice and egalitarian bullshit, like they're building up credit in this stupid leftist system, and then she just came in and she was one of them until she just got a little too close to the edge, and someone they knocked her down for it, and then she exposed the entire thing. So they threw everything out.
That's because there's nothing worse than a heretic, right? Somebody who should know better. They learn the religion, and then all of a sudden they say, "Man, it doesn't work for me." They are worse than anyone else, and that's exactly what that was.
She's like the boy who said the emperor had no clothes. Like she just at first, everyone was just shocked that someone was going against with this whole fallacy and this whole make believe thing that everyone had created. And they're going, why would you do that? All you had to do was say that the emperor's clothes were nice, and everyone would have been happy.
Yeah, I think this was a rude awakening for her, and I hope for other post-secondary students and people that are considering post-secondary education. This is what happens when you don't follow the dogma.
Yeah, you might want to look outside the window. This is what happens, Lindsay.
Well played, Tim.
Oh, really? Who does that? Who does that?
Let's do one last one. We've got a CBC article. Straw purchasing puts more legally bought guns in the hands of Alberta criminals.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. But according to the RCMP in Alberta, firearms are showing up in a lot more investigations than they did in the past. Yeah, it's almost like criminals want to be more armed as time goes on. It's weird how there's that escalation of arms because the police didn't used to wear body armor and carry semi-automatic pistols. And now they do. So the criminals have to one-up them. And then the other criminals are doing that. So they have to one-up them. Now all the criminals have more guns. So the police have to get bigger guns and more armor. And then the criminals and rival criminals do the same thing. And it's almost like it's an arms war.
But the stupid thing about the whole thing, I mean, I guess it is the one not terrible thing about having a pistol registry. That's what they want. If you buy a pistol legally and then you sell it to a criminal and it shows up at a crime, you're an idiot because that's not good.
Yeah,
if you buy a firearm with the express purpose of giving it to someone illegally, did you really purchase that legally? Because in my opinion, no.
It's a straw purchase. It's illegal.
Yeah, it's just stupid. I mean, those people, because of the laws we have in Canada and our licensing, they're going to get caught pretty quick. And we have seen cases of that in the news where they got busted very quickly and they went to jail for a really long time, as they should.
Really quickly. There's one guy who bought 30 firearms in a couple weeks or something like that and didn't get investigated for it, and they all ended up in hands of criminals. It's when they came to investigate, sorry, I'm missing 20 of these. I hope that's okay.
Well, there was a big box store out in Alberta, wasn't there? And they moved 32 pistols out of that before they even knew they were gone.
I think that's the same case that you guys are talking about.
Well, the 30-odd pistols this is Canada. It doesn't happen every day.
Who wants a pistol in 30-aught? I mean, that's going to be one hell of a pistol.
Maybe Earl.
Be contender.
Yeah.
Earl
He's about the only guy that can handle it.
He wants a pistol and 42 rimfire.
Well, gotta harvest all that ivory.
Oh, wow. All right. Yeah. The other thing that the RCMP brings up is that the the rate of guns being smuggled in from the U.S. has decreased because apparently it's easier to straw purchase and illegally resell firearms in Canada than to smuggle them in from the United States.
I don't believe that.
I don't. I would like
Yeah.
to see like some source material for that, because
Unless it's just proving that their CMP is not doing the job that they're
Well-
actually supposed to do with the whole registry and the firearms licensing and stuff like that.
This is where I like I don't understand what's going on here, because I'm pretty sure like a couple weeks back someone did the RCP did a report on this and how they had absolutely no idea where a huge chunk of all the firearms used in crime were coming from. They just couldn't source them at all. So I'm kind of confused as to why they can say, "Oh, they're all being straw purchased," if this guy bought 30 and they only 28, and they only recovered, like, I think it was 8 of them in this case. So I can't really take their numbers to mean anything if they can't prove where any of these firearms are coming from or where they're going.
Like, it should be simple enough. Like, if it shows up on the registry, then it was a straw purchase. If it doesn't show up on the registry, then it was smuggled in.
Well, I feel
Yeah,
like at that
pretty
point
obvious.
they try and do like they'll contact manufacturers and see where a firearm was sold or where it was picked up from, and for some reason they can't do that with, I think it was like 30% of the firearms that they recover.
yeah, I don't know what the details are around all of that, but I would imagine it would be fairly easy to trace it back to its point of origin. It's just where it went after that, unless it was imported into Canada for a legal sale through licensed retailers, because that would all be tracked. It's the stuff that's smuggled in from outside of the country that we may never be able to trace.
And I get with the non-restricted, once it goes from the retailers to the first original purchaser, after that point, the tracking becomes unreliable because you don't have any tracking of it. But
Yeah, it's like
you
using
would still
Canada
have a
Post.
record that it went to a legal owner at some point, and then you start chasing that down. So you still have some point of reference of where to start looking.
I think that this comes back to something we talked about near the top of the show, is that adding more laws won't solve this problem.
But that's also like there's a thing, and I'm trying to think of other parallels, but like gun owners and like we get painted with the broad brush they have to try to get when they're trying to like to stem crime, and we are the ones who end up jumping through all these hoops and stuff, even though we never intend to commit a crime or you know, will likely never commit a crime with a gun. But like I'm trying to think like alcohol, like the fact that we have to buy our alcohol through a liquor control board just because someone is going to get drunk and have an accident, you know, like it's or something like that, like, or you know, people have substance abuse issues. Like there's still, and all things like that. I really just don't like when people get punished for someone else's shitty behavior.
Well, and again, like anything else, it's ineffective. Andrew's pointed out in the past that you can go to the LCBO and say, "Hey, I'd like 20 cases of whiskey," and they'll say, "No problem. Would you like a cart with that?" But I can't do that at 2 in the morning. I have to do it at 4 in the afternoon and then go home and drink it and get in a drunken driving accident. There's nothing in the law that prevents me from doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, /sad.
Yeah. So I think, legal firearms owners get shit on more than like any other group that I can think of. And if someone can think of one, then
Straight white men who are legal firearms owners, but that's kind of a subset of the same demographics.
yeah, niche of a niche.
Well, it's a political thing, right? You can't blame other groups for the behaviors of one member of that group, except firearms owners. You should be scared of all those crazy bastards.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like I have like a fair amount of firearms, and like deer season rolls around like every year, and I pull out all my guns, and I just look at them and I go, well, shit, these are good for nothing but killing.
Then you go shoot a deer and eat it.
I really got to go get a deer gun. These are for killing.
I had that discussion with a friend of mine a little while ago because she's a deer hunter and she does not like black guns with pistol grips because she looks at them and she just thinks they're meant for killing things. So I'm working on educating her and a few other people that no, I kill paper and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why are they not good for killing things? I mean, only killing people.
It's the cosmetics of it, right? I've run into a lot of different people. Like I run into people at the range even, well, you've got handguns. Handguns are only good for killing people. Well, then you should be running right now.
But like,
when you look at a cop, do you have a stroke because the cop's carrying a gun? Well, no. Well, then the problem isn't the gun, right?
my thing has always been these aren't good for hunting. Well, why aren't they good for hunting? Because you say they're not good for hunting. It has nothing to do with their ability to.
Oh yeah, I would totally
as
take
a
a
hunting-
gopher hunting with an AR. I think that'd be a great activity.
Yeah, and to be honest, like I'm small town guy, like and like but I went along for a long time and say, oh yeah, the AR-15 would be an excellent gun for coyote hunting, and I just thought I just did it as lip service to solidarity with the for the gun things, and then I finally got an AR, just like the my first AR. Norinco stuck a red dot on it, like that Bushnell TRSR or TRS 25.
Are you
and
me?
like 3 shots, 1.5 inches at 100 yards. And I'm like, shit, this is an excellent. This would be an excellent gun for coyote hunting. Like literally,
This would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I'm out in the woods and I'm dragging around my Enfield, I'm just thinking, man, I would love to have my AR right now.
Yeah.
Well, an Enfield, that's an actual implement of war.
Absolutely, it's
a battle
rifle. Assault rifle.
But the bug menace isn't going to kill itself, so we need the guns to take care of that.
We should just nuke them from orbit.
It's the only way to be sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Join the Space Force.
Yep.
I like guns with pistol grips. Like ergonomically, to me, they're far more comfortable. They're nicer to carry. AR-15s are super simple, super reliable, easy to fix. They're an awesome rifle. Like they're just so damn good.
Well, all of my precision rifles have a pistol grip on it because it just feels better.
And you don't accidentally punch yourself in the nose either.
Yeah.
Yeah. After I shot an AR, I realized that I absolutely hate a traditional, I don't even know what that's called, but like pistol grip and traditional unergonomic BS stuff. A rifle with a pistol grip is just more comfortable. Your wrist is designed to sit that way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, on shotguns I much prefer without a pistol grip because the pistol grip gets in the way of reloading. But, different designs have different purposes. And, guns are still guns. It doesn't change the functionality or the lethality of it. It's purely cosmetic and a personal preference thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard the pistol grip makes them extra killy. It's like having a bayonet lug.
Or that shoulder thing that goes up.
Oh, God, we can't talk about that.
Not a bayonet lug.
Yeah.
That's why I laugh when you look at the laws and you realize that, especially the ones like the American Assault Weapon Bill, right? Why is this illegal? Oh, it has a pistol grip or a thumbhole stock. Really? Okay, then.
Well, since when do gun laws have to make sense, though?
Well, they don't, and that's the thing. So.
In fact, to be a gun law, it almost can't make sense.
I feel like that's a rule.
No point in bringing logic into a perfectly good piece of legislation.
All right, let's. That covers off the news, I think, for tonight. If you haven't signed petitions for C71, go sign a petition. Go sign E1608. It's not quite closed yet. I think we're coming up to the deadline, though.
It should be soon. Or
maybe it recently passed.
I thought it was going to be.
Nope, petition's still open. No idea when it closes.
26th. 26th.
Okay, so.
Oh, July 26th. Sorry, July. 26th.
Oh, it's July. I thought it was June 26th. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were down to our last week. I guess we're down to our last month, close to a month. Go sign the petition. It's not. It doesn't matter. It's already in SECU council stuff, but whatever. They still have to send it to the Senate. It still has to come back for final reading. So, hey, maybe we can convince Andrew Scheer to tell the conservative Senate members to slow it down and play stupid games.
At least it finally crossed over 80,000 signatures.
Well, yeah, even if they're going to just keep ramming this thing through, which we know they are, at the end of the day, that petition still gets read aloud, and there's going to be a number of people assigned to it.
And a lot of people will hopefully look at it and realize, wait a minute, 75 signatures to push a politically correct topic and it gets attention, 80,000 to say, no, we don't like that topic, and we ignore that. So,
Well, we've already done that with the AR-15 petition, but I digress.
And
The
the
Canadian,
suppressors and a couple other ones too, I believe.
yeah,
lots of
the
other
AR
ones.
one was like over 80,000, wasn't it? It was the most.
No, we passed that a while ago. It
Was
was. I thought it was 30 or 40 or something like that.
Okay, that was previously the most signed petition in the history of signed petitions in Canada.
Yeah.
Was the AR-15 petition? I don't recall what the number was, but yeah, it wasn't.
It was quite
me
high.
either. But the government said, "Yeah, we're just not going to do that." Thanks, though.
Right.
here's a form letter.
Yeah.
Public safety, babies, blah, blah, blah.
We also have the 8th annual Canadian Firearms Podcaster Charity Shoot coming up July 5th to 7th in Restigouche, New Brunswick. Who's going to that? Dave, are you going to that?
Absolutely, I'm going to that. Plus, I got into the pistol class. Plus, I got into the maple seed.
Nice. You're going to get to spend
Nice.
so much time with me.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
we are. We can cuddle. And wait, my mic on? Yeah, it's
I'm
gonna
not
be
embarrassed. I'm not sure why you are.
Right.
totally looking forward to this. This is going to be amazing.
Andrew's beard isn't going to cuddle itself.
That's true. It is very nice.
I thought it has to now, according to Facebook's bullshit.
Oh, I guess, yeah, it's worth bringing up that whoever runs the fake profile, I'm looking at you two guys, Andrew and Dave.
It's
I have
not me. I swear to God, it's not me.
Don't know anything about it.
Yeah, you're both very believable. I feel like it might be a joint effort. Whoever runs the fake profile that is Andrew's beard, well, it is hilarious, and I strongly encourage anyone on Facebook to go and follow it because it is very funny. I forgot my point.
You can't be in a relationship with your beard.
Oh yeah, the bigots that run Facebook won't let me be in a relationship with both my beard and my wife at the same time.
I
Whoa.
don't see how that would be a problem. That's like a thing. So, yeah,
So
but none of them probably have beards. So.
Oh, I'm sure there's a few people that work there that have beards, but I don't mean the physical kind.
Well, they're physical. They're just not hair.
not, yeah, that's the thing. I regret. Anyway, the biggest thing Facebook says you can't be in a relationship with two other Facebookers at the same time. So,
Seems hateful to me.
well,
Yeah.
it makes me
Does-
think about a lot of things that Mark Zuckerberg probably didn't get to experience in college.
Well, to me, it sounds
Because he was too busy playing around on his computer making up Facebook.
Islamophobic, really.
I think so.
Wow.
All
That was,
You're right.
I was, yeah.
Report as such.
No, that makes sense.
No rapid fire feedback this week. If you want to email the show, you should do that at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. I will read your hate mail on the air.
Love hate mail.
I
we
haven't
never got feedback from that guy.
feedback from which guy?
Oh shit!
Oh, you know what? Actually, I take that back. We do have feedback. I totally forgot. There was
I
a
didn't.
Facebook message, and I have not copied and pasted it into the show notes. Let me see if I can figure out how to find a Facebook message.
Please stand by.
While we have the dead air, the top
Good thing we're alive.
Found it.
signatures for e-petitions ever currently is the electoral system, which is closed at 13,130,452.
130,500. And then the AR-15 petition was only 25,000 signatures.
Really? The
Yeah,
electoral
like blew
reform
that
got
up.
that high?
Yeah.
That thing that you were supposed to do for
That's
anyways.
impressive.
They ignored it.
Then comes E1608 and then E411, but that one already is finished, I believe.
So basically, if you get a lot of signatures, we'll ignore you unless it's something we want. But if you get 75 signatures on something that we like, then you're good to go.
It's a big problem.
Maybe that's the trick. Get as few signatures as possible so that they think it's not popular, and then they just do that stuff.
Oh, you know what they should do? Never mind. I was gonna say they should just do it again, but like have it very short, have like 6 people sign it, and then see what happens.
I think that maybe you would have to have it come from certain people as well. I think
Yeah, it
maybe
has to
that
be
was the
tabled by
motivation
people.
for the other one.
People that own helicopters?
Maybe.
Or access to some.
I could go for some helicopters.
I would
I-
totally take pilot training.
I would totally have some Facebook feedback from a previous podcast. I forgot to copy and paste this into the show notes earlier, but we have a message from Tom that is now in the show notes. And Tom says, "Hey guys, just listened to your June 5th podcast named Decay. Well done, first of all, great podcast, but I have a question. During some of the debate about parties, a member said something along the lines of that other useless party, none of the above. I'm curious to know why they think that and how they came to that conclusion. Thank you for your time, Tom." Now, I don't remember if this was a Marty thing or a Gavin thing, because I feel like that's something one of you two would have said.
I think that it was me that said that. If not, I would definitely have said something like that.
Well, that's what I thought was that might have been you, and if it wasn't you, I was pretty sure it would have been Marty.
So yeah, so I mean, even if all the people in your riding happen to vote for that particular party, because a vote for none of the above isn't actually a vote for none of the above. It's for a political party called none of the above. And when you do that, you take away a seat from some other party, which I mean, I guess could in theory work to our advantage if like a shitty party is going to win. And you've now taken away one of their seats, but still, you haven't done anything. Like effectively, you really haven't, because.
So I get the question that comes up then is your problem with the none of the above party, or is it a problem with voting for the smaller parties?
Well, both. I mean,
so
if you want to vote for a smaller party. If you're going to vote none of the above, it should be an actual vote for none of the above. Like, that should be an actual thing, and you can tick it off on the box as, I don't want to vote for any of these people, but, like...
And there should be consequences for that.
Your ballot.
There is, exactly, that's the thing, is there is a process, and it's called declining.
Right, yes. But is there any consequences if majority of the people who submit a ballot cancel their ballot? It doesn't mean anything, it just means people are annoyed. But at the end of the day, the party with the most votes still gets in the office.
Yeah, they only see the statistics.
Which is going to be the same thing as if you vote for the party, none of the above. The other parties are still going to get more votes, and they're still going to win. But even if, for some miraculous, bizarre reason, they happen to win, you're going to have a bunch of people in government that don't want to be in government and aren't going to be able to do anything.
That's who we should be putting into government, in my opinion. You should pick all the people who don't want to be there and give them the job.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Dave, but I don't see that happening.
No, it'll never happen. But
and that's what I am with Gavin in this, and it just reminds me of like a Miyamoto Musashi, the swordsman in Japan, wrote a book called Book of Five Rings, and basically one of the things he repeated again and again and again was do what is effective. And you just, like, as much as I love a lot of the libertarian principles, they just, I can't see them ever becoming like a large political party in Canada. And it's not because of my one vote.
No, they're never going anywhere. So I think that none of the above is just kind of an I'm pissed off vote. Like, they're just trolling, really.
Yeah, and that's not the kind of people that I want in power. Like, I fully agree. Like, the most qualified candidate for any political position is the person that doesn't want the job, because anybody that wants the job clearly wants power to some degree, and then ultimately over time could be corrupted by that.
So that you gotta get Tony Montoya and be like, first you get the money and then you get the women.
Yes,
I mean the power. Like then you get the power.
But we unfortunately need somebody running the show, or at least coordinating with other people to get certain things.
With that the people that tend to be in government are not people that I think should be in government. And I think most of this is because it's just too easy to make money in the government and in public sector jobs in general.
Well, you have to have a certain mindset to want to be in government, no matter who you are, whether you're any party, whatever you belong to. You want the power of life and death over other people, because when you come right down to it, that's what government does.
Don't forget the $45,000 worth of clothes in 2 years.
Yeah.
You mean travel expenses?
Yes. I mean, office.
That was advertising.
Office clothes.
Man, when you can't even defraud your own party correctly.
Yes.
So aside from that, because I'm in agreement that the people in the government probably shouldn't be the people that compose the government because it seems like a bad idea. The actual party platform behind none of the above doesn't seem like a bad platform. They're talking about recall laws for politicians, civil servants, and judges. And these are all people that I think should hold elected offices and be subject to recall. Because I don't like that we have judges that can be appointed for any length of time and not subject to any other, like, not subject to the people who to whom they are judging, right? That's not how judiciary should work.
Agreed, but I mean that's going to take more than like a bunch of nobodies to accomplish that.
Well, that's like one of the interesting things about the states is like they have the sheriff, and the sheriff is in charge of the county, and he can even defy like an order from the president in his county, but he has to get elected like every couple of years, right? Yeah.
Well, that and reading about this a little bit more, in the 2014 election, they had 8 people going. There are 8 different ridings, and it's like the guy, his wife, and his son were like 3 of those, which again, like, kind of sounds like a family trying to get some sort of. I mean, I don't know these people, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but like, when you've got a bunch of people all from one family all running in the same area, it kind of sounds like a power grab to me.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I get the point. I am glad that we are better than, well, I look at it as being better than the American system, that we have the opportunity to run many different candidates in many different parties. I don't particularly like that, like, at the federal level, we have the Big Three and the Green Party. I don't particularly like that in Quebec we have the Big Three and the Bloc, but at least we have the option to run more than 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, do you want the shitty one or do you want the really shitty one?
Yeah. Well, at least in Ontario now, we've got the big 2 and then the other 2.
I'd still feel like it's always going to be an option of which is going to do the best of the worst job. Sorry, the worst of the best, whatever. They're not going to screw up the most.
Do the least damage.
Yeah, so it doesn't really make a difference how many options you have, because you're never going to have a party that's going to line up 100% with your views. You're always picking for the one to do the least amount of damage. So whether it's 2 options or 3, I don't think it makes that much of a difference as long as there's more than one.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree with that until we can actually have like real representative, direct democracy type government. Like if we want, the Roman model, for example, is not bad. Tyler's brought that up before. The land-owning men with weapons get to have a vote. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, Starship Trooper model.
I don't think anyone else on the panel would disagree with that.
No, and I mean, like, okay, so we have to deal with things like
diverse
suffrage and stuff, but like,
I'm wearing a black shirt.
Land-owning men with weapons is a pretty good demographic of people that should be making decisions about how the thing works, because they're the people that are going to have to enforce the will of that group on others.
Or could open it up like the Vikings did and allow like women as well, or anyone.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm sold on the whole
land
women's suffrage thing, but that's like a whole other.
1960s is calling, Andrew. They'd like their rights back.
Oh, they gave them the right to vote way before the 1960s. It's more like the 1860s is calling. I can see their ankles, and I'm not comfortable with that. But yeah, fine. And land-owning individuals with their own weapons, like that could, Gavin's Starship Troopers. Where's my drop of that? We have Tyler saying that. Yeah. Why is Tyler not here? We
national service. It doesn't have to necessarily be military service. It can be national service.
Well, and that's the thing is, if more people were involved in actual service, they would look at government service as more of a real service role and not, how can I get $100,000 a year and live in a free place in Ottawa for 6 months? Which is unfortunately how I think too many of our MPs treat the government. Is it's just a way to bankroll their lifestyle.
And that's on the bottom end of the scale.
Yeah, but if we just didn't pay them and they had to do that, or if we did everything by referendum, like everything was just voted, we actually had like real direct democracy, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Really? I'm not. I think my only problem with that is that too many people are swayed by the whim of the. It becomes mob rule at that point.
Politicians.
Well, how's that
Still
different
is though.
representative democracy? Like, democracy in general is a pretty shitty system, but it's the best system that we got because the alternative is everybody starves to death.
It removes
Alternative is I'm in charge.
the facade of competent people in control.
Well, if we want to talk about that, then I mean, let's have royals and actually let the queen run the country. Because again, I'd be pretty okay with that. Because when it's their blood and treasure they have to give up, they're less likely to start wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not the first one down the ramp holding a rifle. That's the normal people. So they're okay. with
They're
that,
not.
too.
But looking at like the Windsors as an example, the current royal family, pretty well everybody in their family has served in the military.
That is true.
And I realize that that's not true historically of all royal families or across all different things, but like looking at the current royal family, they have pretty well all served in the military, at least the people that are in the immediate running for like the top 10 spots that it'll get the throne next. Even the current queen served in the military during the war, right? She was a mechanic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Badass.
She was badass. Yeah.
Oh, she's super badass.
Yeah,
You ever
I
see her
like
shoot one of those LS or L86, whatever they are? Yeah, the bullpups.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the queen, and now I'm going to shoot the bullpup.
And Harry was an
Yeah.
Apache pilot. How more badass was that?
She's
Yeah.
the only civilian in the country who's ever gotten to fire one.
It's a good point, but I mean, like, so aside from that, if we're going to have democracy, our version of democracy, well, it is maybe not a very good democracy. Any version of democracy. I mean, I guess Benny's point, it's the illusion of control for the common people, but I don't want the common people to be in control in the first place.
Yeah.
I want the uncommon people to be in control because they're the uncommon people, and they might have some semblance of an idea about what they're doing.
Yeah, go into Tim Hortons in the morning. You'll see the common people and end up ordering things called 4x4s, which is 4 sugars and 4 creams.
And they're delicious.
Oh, I got it.
Vote for that guy right there.
Right? See, this is what I said. These are the people that I don't want in power.
It's the Winston Churchill quote: "The best argument against democracy is a 5-minute discussion with any voter."
Absolutely.
My favorite. This is completely unrelated, but my favorite Churchill quote was, "Don't lecture me on naval tradition. It's nothing but sodomy and the lash." And no, grog, sodomy, and the lash.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Nice.
We should just start splitting up provinces by people's political aspirations. Not aspirations, leanings. So all the conservatives moved to Alberta.
We did that.
moved to Quebec.
Exactly what I've been saying. It's just everyone talks about like race war and religious stuff like that, but it's just when it comes right down to it, like the biggest divides in North America right now are political.
Well, okay. I actually disagree slightly. I mean, it's still political, but it's not political in the way that I think you're describing it. It is not a matter of left versus right, socialism versus fascism, the conservatives versus the liberals. I think it's a problem of people that want to be left alone and people that won't leave me the hell alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they shouldn't be able to vote for government programs that take money from you so they can get free shit. That's
well, and that's the thing with democracy that really bothers me, because I can vote for the thing that I think is better, or I can vote for the people that I think will do a better job. But if 51% of the people vote for the free stuff, the government will come and take that from me to redistribute it.
Which they inevitably will. It's like
Well,
that.
not even 50%. I mean, we've got 30%
Yeah, okay, in
that
Ontario.
voted, because of the stupid first past the post nonsense. Like federally, it's like a third of the country voted for the party in power, 2/3 voted for somebody else, or not at all.
well, yeah. And provincially, the Conservatives beat out the NDP by like 10 to 12%. Like it's just.
And only half the population actually voted too.
Yeah.
So the people who got in charge were actually put in charge by 15% of the population.
Right, and this is what I'm saying. This is the problem with any sort of representative democracy: is we have to have a way to put some group of people into power, and it doesn't matter how we do that. Ultimately, the people that are deciding that they should be in power aren't responsible for their decisions, and they want the government to come and use force to take away my property to redistribute it to those other people. Right?
Well,
This is why I say, like, if we had representative democracy where it was landowning men with guns. I'm going to do everything in the power, like in my ability to protect my family and provide for them. And if somebody wants to come and take that, they're more than welcome to try. But I'm the one with the means of production, the land, and the arms and armor, the power to defend and protect those things. So if they want to come and take it, they're more than welcome. But they're going to get shot in the face.
Yeah. But I
Right.
believe
It's
there's
not
a
fair for them
quote
to test.
somewhere that represents that. It's Mulan labia, I think, is the quote.
Yes.
Something like that, yes.
But I mean, that's the thing. If you want to have like an actual like direct democracy like that, okay. Aside from democracy, if you want to have like the rule of the strong, come and take my stuff, and if you can take it, then great, it's yours. But if you can't come and take, because this is the problem that we're running into, is these people that want free stuff. They don't want to go out and work for stuff. That's why they want it for free. They're not going to come and take it from you or me or from a listener. They're going to demand the government send an agent of the state to go and take it from someone at the point of a gun. And as soon as they get told they have to go and do it themselves, they're not getting their free stuff, and they're going to discover that being hungry sucks, and they're either going to die or do work to not be hungry.
Either way, good outcome.
Right. It's positive outcome in either event. And if they try and take my stuff, I get to shoot somebody in the face. So again, win-win.
Well, look at that. Was it Nat Global News or whatever it was? Did that survey with the fake election with the kids in school, and they found out that people that eat would happily have candy floss and Coca-Cola for dinner every night, like the NDP.
Yeah, and I mean, who would? If I could have ice cream every day without any consequences other than enjoying my ice cream every day, yeah, that's great. But that's not like a realistic way to live my life.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Growing up, I feel like people in my school would have voted conservative, but then again, I went to a Jewish day school, so
I would have, because I grew up in a mostly rural place where we had to work.
Yeah.
And didn't have much government to take care
Oh,
of.
if they asked me, we talked about this a little bit before on a previous week's episode, because we talked about that study with the what would school children vote for in Ontario.
yeah.
I would, 15, 14-year-old me, whatever, grade 9 civics class, 15-year-old me totally would have been a socialist. Free stuff sounds great. Let's give everybody free stuff. I just want to help everybody out. 16-year-old me paying taxes, fuck that. Tell them to get a job.
Yeah. Well, what is it? There's the quote, like, if you're not a liberal when you're young, you have no heart. If you're not a conservative when you're older, you have no brain.
I think that was Winston as well.
Probably.
Well, if we're gonna use Winston Churchill quotes, then I get to drop the last one, and then we move on.
Golf course.
This is
Diplomacy.
speeches.
No, diplomacy is the art of telling people to go to hell in such a way that they ask for directions.
I like diplomacy as saying nice doggy until you can find a big stick.
I thought that was General Mattis.
I think it was.
That's about having
Still
a
a good
plan to kill everybody in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, always carry a knife in case
Yeah.
there's cake, or you need to kill everyone.
Yeah.
Cake's a lie.
I would not tell General Mattis that. All right, let's wrap this up.
I like how Andrew got that.
Yeah,
Better
of
Andrew
course
got
the
that.
cake is a lie. Oh,
Why?
we're not close friends. Other Andrew, what's the best place to find you on the internet?
You can find me at betterandrew.biz, or
Nobody has the .biz.
except I do, or andar.ca.
Dave, do you have the internet, Dave?
I don't have the interwebs where I am, sorry, in my bunker deep beneath my house.
All right, Gavin, where can everybody find you on the internet?
Best place is on Instagram, urbex_GTA.
All right, Benny, where can everybody find you on the internet?
Hold on, I just need to mute better Andrew.biz.
Oh yeah, you definitely wanna do that in a public space with the volume turned up as loud as possible.
You can find me at bennylewis.ca or Facebook. Search bennylewis.ca.
Way to go, Benny. You had one job.
Tim, where can everybody find you on the internet?
Find me at facebook.com/TimsGoodT-shirts.
They're quite mediocre. Wait, no. I was the other guy.
There's the other guy, Dave's Mediocre Shirts.
All right, as always, you can find me, RagnarokTactical.ca. I teach courses, I sell bandages, I sell a bunch of other cool stuff. Maybe you want some Ultima shoes, because the Ultima Maritime Assault boots are the best boots.
Hey, any spots left in that Ragnarok course?
It's true.
Lightweight.
There is a Ragnarok course coming up this coming Saturday, June the 23rd. There are currently 2, possibly 3 spots because I believe we have a cancellation and it might have gone to 3 spots available now. If you want to do that, we're going to be in Ontario near Owen Sound at the Sydenham Sportsmen's Association. You should check out RagnarokTactical.ca. Send me an email, Andrew at RagnarokTactical.ca. Make arrangements. Drop us a line on Facebook. Let us know you want to come and shoot some guns. It's very, very affordable.
Is it AR operators course? Carbine operator
We're going to do a carbine operators course. It's not specifically AR, but I imagine that'll be what most people bring.
I took the course last year, and I can now prove that I am an operator because I have a piece of paper from Andrew that says displayed proudly.
Those are all Ragnarok.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
We're going to have to make you up like an operator certificate just so you have something different. I think I've collected them all.
Some sort
Yes,
of
I have.
medal, maybe. Okay.
You need a shotgun operators course too.
We need to find somebody that's qualified to teach shotgun.
Plus, shotguns suck. Get a rifle.
It's all
I
reloading.
have lots.
Good.
I mean, we could do it, but it's all reloading. I mean,
Yeah.
just practice in your living room.
With the windows open.
Oh, great advice. If you feel like practicing for firearms, particularly if you're a Canadian Forces member living in PMQs on base, you should definitely practice reloading around sunset in the living room in kit with the windows open. When the MPs drive by, they really wonder what you're doing. Ask me how I know. Cool dudes, though. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the MPs at board not shooting me that day.
Yeah, so basically the lesson that you're all going to take away from this podcast is anything that Andrew says, do the opposite.
Oh yeah, this is totally an entertainment program. This is not legal advice. This is an entertainment program that we do on the internet here.
You guys are so silly not carrying your kit around all the time.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not wearing it, but it's like right here.
No, I mean like, our CF guys. How long after you guys get into basic do you get issued your firearm and ammunition?
Yeah, that's a trick question because you don't get issued ammunition.
Or sleeping bags.
Oh wow, that's mean. Let's leave that there. We're gonna close the show with no sleeping bags. I have to apologize to Rudgill Tack. I'm sorry we couldn't fit him onto the panel. We managed to fill up some empty spaces at the last minute, and he wasn't the first person to respond, so he got bumped. I'm not.
Not really.
For all of our listeners out there in podcast land, I would like to remind you that you are the true North, strong and free.